Chapter 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rumble, Liu and the man traded blows, fists and feet hammering together in a deafening roar. Shockwaves rippled outwards, a terrifying display of power, boom. Liu's attack slammed into the man's head. He sneered, gripping his knife and slashing at it, bang. Their fists collided again, boom. They staggered back, digging deep furrows into the ground with each step. Dust billowed, filling the air in a dramatic cloud. Kid, I didn't expect you to be so strong at your age. You're worthy of being the Li family's best. But how dare you challenge me? You think you can compete with me? You're asking for it. You're dead, boom. With a roar, the man lunged at Liu, his energy surged, radiating a terrifying force. His aura was like a raging storm, overwhelming and relentless. Die, you little ant, he swung his knife, aiming to cut Liu down. He was fast, the blade a blur as it descended, Liu's eyes narrowed, his own sword flashing. He dodged the attack, then countered with a sharp strike of his own, clang. Sparks flew as their weapons met, illuminating the scene. Liu's sword connected with the man's wrist, channeling his power into the blade. An immense force shattered the man's arm. Arg, the man screamed, releasing his grip, click. His wrist snapped, his entire arm breaking apart and falling to the ground in a spray of blood. Clutching his ruined wrist, the man's face went pale. He reached down with his left hand, snapped off his right hand completely, and tossed it to the ground. Then, consumed by rage, he charged at Liu. Damn you! I'll kill you! I'll eat you alive! Damn you! His face twisted into a mask of hatred, boom. He lashed out with a kick aimed at Liu's chest, moving with the speed of a bullet, boom. The kick landed squarely on Liu's chest. A shockwave erupted, creating a deafening explosion and scattering debris. Poof! Liu flew backward, coughing up blood. His face was pale with shock and horror, his strength visibly diminished. What? His body is stronger than before. How is that possible? Liu stared in disbelief. Hadn't this guy just reached the first stage of alchemy? How could he be so powerful, so much stronger than before? Could he have already reached his peak? Impossible. His face was etched with disbelief. Ha, you realize it now? Too late. Today, you die, the man sneered, his aura intensifying as he charged again. Liu, startled, quickly channeled his power. The energy flowed into his sword, causing it to glow brilliantly. He took a deep breath, pouring every ounce of his strength into the blade, buzz. An overwhelming sword intent emanated from the weapon, radiating an astonishing pressure, like a mountain about to crush him, whoosh. With a sharp crack, Liu vanished. He dodged the man's attack and tried to flee. The man's expression twisted with fury. Damn you! You think you can escape? Dream on. Today, I will kill you, even if it costs me my life. Whoosh. The man transformed into a black blur, speeding after Liu and appearing behind him in an instant. He raked his claws across Liu's back. Trying to die. Seeing the man approach, Liu snarled and twisted his body. A streak of light struck the man like a lightning bolt, boom. Their attacks collided in a violent explosion, plop. Chapter 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. X100. Liu's head slowly popped up, plastered on his face. What the heck is this? Buzz. Suddenly, a message flashed in his mind. It explained what this X100 was all about. 100-fold increase. When I collect sacrifices, their power is multiplied by 100. He took a deep breath. It was still hard to mask the shock on his face. This perk was just too insane. It was beyond anything he could have imagined. He stared at the big black cow carcass outside the ancestral temple. He thought, alright, let's do this. Collect the sacrifice. Event. Your followers held a pious blood sacrifice ceremony for you. Event. Your believer sacrificed a level 2 barbarian bull. Event. You gained 11-12 faith points. Talent. the sacrifices you receive are multiplied 100-fold. Talent, you have obtained a drop of extraordinary level Barbarian Bull Emperor's blood essence. Extraordinary level, Liu's face lit up with surprise. Level 1, Standard, Level 2, Elite, Level 3, Leader, Level 4, Lord, Level 5, Extraordinary. Just like that, a Level 2 sacrifice jumped to Level 5. In the City of Gods, there are gods from his planet, but also tons from other planets, and there are even local gods. The currency of choice is the power of faith. Level 2 items go for 1,000 to 3,000 faith points, but Level 5 items fetch 1 million to 3 million. That's a difference of almost 1,000 times. So the 100-fold increase is based on quality, not price. He grinned, the better the quality of an item, the higher the price is gonna be. His eyes locked onto the Barbarian Bull Emperor's blood essence that had appeared out of nowhere and hovered in front of him. Even as a demigod, he could feel the intense energy radiating from it. Seriously awesome power. Slowly, his eyes turned lavender. He activated the Eye of Insight. It's a basic skill every god knows. Barbarian Bull King Essence and Blood effects can help level 4 peak warriors, increasing their chances of advancing to the extraordinary level 5 by 30%, can be divided into 100 parts to help level 2 peak warriors, giving them an extra 30% chance of being promoted to the level 3 leader. Can be divided into 100 parts to help level 1 peak warriors advance directly to level 2 elites. 3 ways to use it. Liu thought for a moment and made up his mind. He'd go with the third option. All 3 are pretty much the same in terms of value. Treasures that can guarantee a level 1 peak warrior's advancement to a level 2 elite are only level 3 items, and the value difference between level 3 and level 5 items is about 100-fold. More importantly, I gotta pump up my followers' strength ASAP. That's the only way to get better sacrifices. That with a flick of his thoughts, the Barbarian Bull Emperor's blood essence in front of him trembled slightly and split into 100 equal parts. Not too much, not too little. As a demigod, his control was a given. He gazed at the orc still praying outside and suddenly spoke. Boom. Silence. Then, thunderous roars echoed in the skies above the Grush tribe. Even though there was no lightning, a surge of divine power burst from the ancestral temple and enveloped the whole tribe. God was as powerful as hell. Suddenly, all the orcs were flat on the ground, their faces filled with awe and reverence. The god of thunder was watching them. Elder Hog was pumped and excited. Great and ancient god of thunder, ancestor god of the Grush tribe, please protect your humble believers. Great and ancient god of thunder. The orcs chanted, feeling the god's attention, their faith intensified. I'm pleased with your sacrifices. Here's your reward. Rumble. Liu's majestic voice boomed throughout the tribe. At the same time, streaks of red light shot out from the ancestral temple. They landed precisely on every adult half-orc. He didn't exactly have the best start, not as good as those chosen ones, but he wasn't doing too shabby either. Half-orcs are naturally strong, peak level 1 warriors as adults. Today, there were 55 grown and upright half-orcs. As the red light fused with their bodies, these 55 orcs couldn't help but stand up and roar in pain. Their bodies were expanding and their heights were increasing. In just 3 to 5 breaths, they were 3 times stronger than before, a whole head taller. The shortest one was 2 meters tall, and he was intimidatingly massive. The crude animal skin on their bodies ripped, revealing green, bulging muscles, built up piece by piece like big rocks, thick, hard, and powerful. Roar! The 55 roared in excitement. They quickly knelt down before the ancestral temple with fervent devotion. Great God of Thunder, your humble followers thank you for your gift. Buzz. Liu could see it immediately. These 55 orcs and his channel of faith instantly became thicker and more stable. They've become fanatical believers. Now I've got 58 fanatical believers. A happy grin spread across his face. Believers are the foundation of gods, and fanatical believers are the bedrock of believers. A fanatical believer can provide 10 points of faith power to the gods every day, 10 times more than devout believers. That's a gold mine. An invaluable gold mine. If you compare the power of faith to money, this is a money tree that drops cash every day. P.S. Please give me flowers and reviews. Chapter 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's different when you're holding a ritual. The solemn, sacred atmosphere, the constant feeling of being watched by the gods, and the power of some unseen law, it all doubles the power of faith, but you can only hold a sacrificial event once a year. Any more, and you'd seriously damage the believer's spirit. You did the math. Normally, he gained about 110 faith points a day. Now, he was pulling in 610, that's 18,000 a month, almost 220,000 a year. 1,000,000 faith points can be turned into a trace of divine power. If I don't eat or drink, I can, save up 5 threads in 5 years. He paused, thinking. For immortal beings like gods, time is the least valuable thing. He pulled back the surging divine power, glanced at the hog shaman, and delivered the oracle. Annual sacrifice. The quality must be at least as good as this year's. The city of gods was unimaginably huge, home to trillions of gods. Liu's place was in District 36,000, 10081 Street, room 129600. He opened and quietly closed the courtyard door. Every god in the city of gods got a villa as a residence, their own private territory. They could invite believers to serve them there, but the believers couldn't leave the villa, or they'd be instantly vaporized by the city's defenses. Unless, of course, they were promoted to demigod level. And there are 45 separate portions of Barbarian Ox Emperor essence and blood. Each one is worth about a third-level item, and those go for 10,000 to 30,000 faith points. Think I can get 1,000,000 faith points for all 45? That he wasn't sure. Stuff that helped believers level up should be pretty valuable, but he honestly had no clue how much these high-end items actually cost. He headed to the nearest trading market. Where there are people, there's trade. Same goes when you replace people with gods, especially for gods who'd ignited their divine fire and built their kingdoms. They were already conquering planes outside the immortal continent and finding all kinds of stuff. A lot of it they probably didn't even need. Not much different from a farmer's market back on Earth, Liu muttered. He'd been to this market before and knew his way around. He quickly found a buyer who needed third-level items to boost their followers. They were wearing a black cloak, obscuring their face. Liu guessed their priesthood was probably something dark. A level 2 peak warrior has a 30% chance of hitting level 3. A level 1 peak warrior is 100% going to level 2. What's your price? The buyer asked directly. How many do you have? A hoarse, gloomy voice replied. 45. 23,000 apiece. The voice was flat. Too low. Liu shook his head and started to walk away. There were over 100,000 gods in this market. This guy wasn't the only one who needed Barbarian Ox Emperor blood. 25,000. That's the best I can do. Deal. Liu stopped and replied. The deal was done. Liu had 1,125,000 faith points. If I tried to get this on my own, it would take 5 years. He grinned. Time to start thinking about the next sacrifice. Another year. He wondered what those half-orcs would bring him this time. He was already looking forward to it. How much for these bread trees? He asked at a stall. Now that he had money, he could spend some. Time to buy food for his orcs so they could work hard without worrying. 100 faith points a plant, replied the lazy old god running the stall. Of course. Anything made by a god was top-notch. These bread trees were all first-level items. You wouldn't find anything lower than that in the city of gods. They bloomed in 1 month, fruited in the next, and were ripe in the third. Each tree could give you hundreds of pounds of bread every 3 months. And they were easy to grow, practically zero upkeep. With 500 of these, the orcs would have more than enough to eat, even for their appetites. Plus, they still went out hunting anyway. I'll take 500. That'll be 50,000, the stall owner said, waving his hand. 10 faith points turned into a boundary ball, wrapping around the bread trees and flying towards Liu. Faith boundary balls were common, disposable space storage for trades between gods. cheap and convenient. Next, Liu picked up 55 first-level maces, 55 first-level suits of armor, a second-level shaman staff, and a second-level shaman's black robe, spending a total of 33,500 faith points. Second-level equipment for the orc warriors was too expensive right now. He'd buy it later, when he had more cash. He still needed to keep 1,000,000 faith points back to convert into a trace of divine power, to finally transform his own strength. Chapter 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Demigods are technically gods, but more like gods in training. They've still got a long way to go before they can ignite their divine spark and raise their own kingdom of God. Most demigods are pretty average, but they can refine their divine body and soul with divine power. Each time they do, they become significantly more powerful. Now, at the Grush Ancestral Temple's holy ground, Liu finished giving the breadfruit trees and equipment to the Grunch orcs. He ignored Elder Hog's increasingly fanatical devotion and stood quietly, lost in thought. He converted the power of millions of beliefs, instantly condensing it into a trace of purple divine power within himself. This was the power of thunder. He had a vast amount of it, and even a tiny bit could give a level 4 lord a 20% chance of leveling up to a level 5 transcendent. Transcendent beings are practically otherworldly. On some smaller planes, they're the top dogs. Let's get started, Liu muttered, refining body and soul. The thunder power resonated perfectly with him, making it hundreds of times more effective than it would be for anyone else. Boom! It felt like the Big Bang. The tiny thread of divine thunder power, one with him, exploded instantly. It erupted into a purple lightning storm, washing over his entire divine body and soul. His divine body strengthened rapidly, and his divine soul solidified. A halo of purple light blazed behind his head, crackling with thunder. Beneath his feet, a thunderous prison spread out, flashing with endless, terrifying lightning. Simultaneously, the power of his priesthood triggered a massive surge of thunder energy from some unknown source. Unparalleled purple divine light vibrated. Every cell, every drop of blood, every bone was changing. Liu seemed to fall asleep, closing his eyes and letting the thunderous divine power transform him. In the Grush tribe, the sun set and rose again and again. Elder Hog's face was grim, looking almost sinister in the torchlight. Clutching his staff and dressed in black robes, he stared coldly at the half-orc corpse before him. Who did this? Iman, the tribe's strongest warrior, still bleeding, gritted his teeth. Elder. We found other orcs on the other side of the bush. Igan was killed by them. There were too many of them. Just the two of us were no match. That even though they were level 2 and the others were only level 1, they were outnumbered 10 to 1. Plus, the enemy wore the same god-given armor and wielded god-given battle axes. The other orcs were riled up. Kill. Avenge Igan. Elder Hog slammed his staff down. The glory of my god cannot be defiled. They killed my god's followers and must be punished. But I sense the aura of false god believers on their corpses. Those evil orcs are followers of a false god. This changes things. I will report to the god of thunder, and everything will be done according to his oracle. He knelt down, facing the ancestral temple with fervent devotion. Behind him, all the orcs prostrated themselves on the ground. Great god of thunder, your glory cannot be defiled. Please let your followers become swords in your hands, overcoming thorns and obstacles. Elder Hog intoned passionately. Great God of thunder, your glory cannot be defiled. All the orcs prayed fervently. Time slipped away, unnoticed. Liu suddenly opened his eyes. A burst of thunderous light erupted and lingered. His expression turned serious as he sensed the prayers of the Grunch orcs. Another orc tribe. An aura of a god. Is the divine war starting this soon? A flicker of apprehension crossed his face, but also a hint of anticipation. God wars were always the most intense. And the most rewarding. With his strength, 54 level 2 elite half-orc believers, and having reached the first turn demigod level, he should be doing alright in this million-mile stretch of wilderness, right? A million miles of wilderness was vast, but this was demigod territory. No true gods were allowed here. Besides, most of the gods here were newcomers, arriving from other planets not long ago. Boom. A roar of thunder ripped through the Grumsh orc tribe, vast divine power filled the air, Liyu's powerful voice boomed, "Initiate the God War." Elder Hog was ecstatic. "I will obey the oracle of my God." He sprang to his feet, raising his staff high and bellowing to all the orcs, "Believers of my God, start the divine war. Start the God War." The orcs roared, they felt no fear, only enthusiasm and excitement. Fighting for their god was their ultimate glory. In his god's domain, Liyu waved his hand, he boosted the level 1 Palm Thunder and level 1 Thunder Vitality, abilities Hog Shaman already possessed, to level 2, and then he granted another divine spell. Level 2 Bloodlust. This was the difference between a first-turn demigod and an ordinary one. Ordinary demigods could only grant shamans or priests a single level 1 divine spell, but a first-turn demigod could grant 3 level 2 divine spells. "Soldiers, go to war." Elder Hog felt the change within himself, his belief grew even more fervent, and his roar was as loud as thunder. Chapter 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kihar gazed from the divine realm toward the Grush tribe, a flicker of anticipation playing at the corner of his lips. "So, after all this time, you've finally stumbled upon another god, huh? I've been waiting for this." It had been 9 years since he'd arrived on the immortal continent. But ever since he'd heard about a fellow Arcanan's success, passing a divine battle, plundering hundreds of believers, and extracting 9 strands of divine power from a slain demigod, he'd been itching for his own chance. If you play by the rules, how else are you supposed to get ahead? 9 years. Under his protection, his believers had grown to over 230, but true fanatics numbered only 12. The faith he harvested annually barely topped 100,000. At this rate, he'd never ignite his divine fire and ascend to the kingdom of God. "I'm one of the first to arrive in this vast wilderness," he mused. "And not exactly down on my luck. Plus, I've got a juvenile black-scaled flying dragon. I've got this in the bag." He couldn't care less about the enemy's believers. What he craved was the divine power he'd extract from their god. Even a run-of-the-mill demigod carried divine power. It's the price of entry to become a demigod. 9 strands, even after selling them and converting them to pure faith, you only end up with about 80% of their value. Still, that's 7.2 million faith. That's enough to elevate me to a second-turn demigod. Plus, I could buy a ton of resources to make my own believers even more devout and powerful. The more he thought about it, the more stoked he became. This battle was his ticket to the big time. Someday, when he finally held the kingdom of God aloft, he'd look back on this moment. He sent down the oracle, initiating the battle of gods. Hoo. For the glory of our God. Fight. 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 Hundreds of orcs clad in basic armor and wielding crude axes roared in response. From a nearby peak, a glistening, scaled head emerged. Its wings spanned over 15 feet. A radiant black scale flying dragon. Ferocity blazed in its eyes. Droplets of its corrosive saliva sizzled as they hit the ground. Its claws were razor sharp. Roar. It unleashed a battle cry and took to the sky. For the glory of our God, kill. Led by their shaman, the orcs marched from their tribe, headed straight for the Grumsh tribe. The black-scaled flying dragon circled overhead. The immortal continent had its rules. Gods couldn't interfere directly. They were confined to their divine realms. Except in one case, when their believers encountered the divine realms of other gods. Then, they could use their followers as a bridge, stepping directly into enemy territory to eliminate the rival god. If believers became fearful, they could be obliterated, crippling their god's power. But if they were fired up and passionate, their morale would skyrocket, greatly enhancing their god's combat power. An ordinary demigod who managed to kill a believer of a one-turn demigod stood a much better chance of slaying the one-turn demigod himself. That's how important believers were to the gods. Nameless Valley. Weeds grew waist-high. A small lake attracted wildlife for miles around. Suddenly, the earth vibrated. The hulking forms of the Grumsh orcs appeared, bloodlust burning in their eyes, axes clutched tight. Halt! Elder Hog, at the head of the pack, raised his staff. The Grumsh orc stopped, confused. The followers of false gods are here. Elder Hog stared ahead. As a spellcaster, his senses were far sharper than those of a warrior. He could feel their approach even before he saw them. They're here. Iman licked his chops, his face a mask of savagery. He towered over the others, a muscular giant easily 7 feet tall. Kill! Kill the followers of the Thunder God. Let the glory of our God shine on the world. Elder Hog raised his staff high, issuing the command. Kill! The orcs roared, a tide of muscle and fury trampling the weeds as they charged forward. In moments, the enemy force appeared. They had numbers, but they were shorter and far less imposing. Throw! Elder Hog roared. 54 orcs pulled stone axes from their backs, grinning maniacally. They hurled the axes. Having reached level 2, their throwing skills had leveled up as well. A dozen enemy orcs fell, struck by the axes, their heads exploding in sprays of blood. Damn it! They're all level 2, the shaman of the Kihar tribe was stunned. They had only 5 level 2 warriors in their tribe. But the enemy was entirely level 2. A single level 2 warrior was worth at least 5 level 1 fighters. Faloo! He yelled. Roar! The black scale flying dragon swooped in, its eyes burning with bloodlust as it descended on the Grumsh orcs. Chapter 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What the heck? They're all second level. Kihar's jaw dropped. Even though he was in his god's domain, he could clearly see the battlefield through his believers. Seeing the opposing force was entirely made up of second-level warriors hit him hard, his heart jumped into his throat. These guys are seriously overpowered. Thank God for Faloo, though. A freaking dragon. An air unit. He was ecstatic. If he hadn't stumbled upon that black-scaled dragon egg 2 years ago, this divine battle would be a total wipeout, but now, a nasty grin spread across his face. With Faloo, his air superiority would methodically dismantle the enemy. This divine battle was as good as won. A dragon. In the Grumsh ancestral temple, within his own divine domain, Liu said, surprised. Sure, it was only a fledgling third-order dragon, but flying units change everything. On the ground, a couple of third-order units might hold their own. Maybe. They would still be ripped apart by the Grumsh orcs, but a dragon, well, it's more likely to be torn apart too. On the battlefield, Elder Hog stared, wide-eyed, as the black-scaled dragon swooped down, but even more so, he was overcome with bloodlust. So what if it could fly? It wouldn't defile the glory of his god. Bloodthirst. He slammed his staff into the ground. Instantly, a strange wave washed over all the Grumsh orcs. Their eyes snapped to blood red, they panted, their muscles bulged, and a wave of raw, primal energy surged from them. Roar! Iman threw his head back and roared, blood-red eyes locked on the black-scaled dragon, then he leapt. Behind him, the other 10 Grumsh orcs roared in unison and followed suit. They raised their battle axes high, ready to slam them into the flying dragon. Sre! The dragon shrieked. 5 or 6 massive gashes tore open its underbelly, gushing blood. Even its wings were nearly torn off. The dragon plummeted to the ground, dying. Naturally. Including Iman, all the leaping Grumsh orcs were violently flung back, coughing up blood. Kill! Elder Hog bellowed. The remaining Grumsh orcs charged, hacking at the Kihar tribe orcs as if they were children. One axe blow after another, they chopped them down. Blood sprayed, limbs flew, a gruesome scene of carnage. The bloodthirst spell amplified the Grumsh orcs' violence. While not quite third level, they were damn close to second. Their strength and constitution temporarily spiked from around 2.2 to over 2.7. It's over. The Kihar tribe shamans were paralyzed with fear, defeated. They were completely crushed. The glory of their god had ended in their hands. Die! Lightning crackled from Elder Hog's palm, a twisted bolt of energy, like a living snake, shot out, engulfing the Kihar tribe shaman. In divine battles, only fanatic believers are killed, because their faith is too deeply rooted and cannot be changed. When the gods asked them to die, they did not hesitate. Only devout believers and enemies below have the value of staying, and their beliefs can be changed. If gods asked them to go to hell, they would not obey. In their hearts, they are more important than their faith. Leave 10 to watch them, Elder Hogg ordered coldly, surveying the dripping blood and the screams of the dying. Then, he led the remaining Grumsh orcs to wipe out the rest of the Kihar tribe. Lost. Bloodthirst. This guy isn't just some demigod, he's a fully ascended one. Kihar's face drained of color, his divine body trembled. What was the fate of a loser? Obliteration. There was almost no other option. He was just a demigod, not one of those who had ignited the divine fire and raised a kingdom. Real gods. Those gods, even if their followers were wiped out and their kingdom destroyed, they would have a contingency plan to live or even make a comeback, but a demigod like him couldn't afford a backup plan at all. What do I do? Despair washed over him, but he didn't have time to think. Elder Hogg, with over 30 Grumsh orcs, was already upon him. The remaining old, weak, women, and injured of the Kihar tribe were defenseless. Easily, they were crushed by the onslaught of blood. The ancestral temple. Elder Hogg gave a savage grin. He marched straight to the center of the tribe. The Kihar tribe's ancestral temple was similar to that of his Grumsh tribe, but with a different color scheme. His tribe was purple, but the ancestral temple in front of him was green. He paused outside the temple door, closed his eyes, and prayed. Great God of thunder, your humble servant has subjugated the followers of false gods, who are now in your domain. He didn't know why he was doing this, but before he left, the oracle of the God of thunder told him to do so. Then, he naturally did it. In the Grumsh ancestral temple, Li Kei's face spread into a satisfied grin. He took a step forward. Suddenly, the world spun. He had traveled from his own divine realm to another. Ahead, he was met with Kihar, whose face was full of panic and fear. P.S. Please give me flowers, comments, monthly votes, and rewards. Chapter 7. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What are you gonna do? Kihar's face was ashen as he stared at Liu, fear etched in his features. His surviving followers were mirroring his terror, their strength seemingly cut in half. More than half, actually. And his opponent was a demigod. Liu was clearly stronger, he just couldn't compete. Even if they become gods, deep down, they're still just regular folks. Liu gazed at the trembling Kihar, a thought striking him. They were just ordinary people before, suddenly elevated to godhood. Like in those cultivation stories, their minds couldn't catch up with their power. They were different from the gods of Nordic and Greek myths, driven by intense desires, but also alike in some ways. They had the strength, but not the mindset. He wondered if the real gods, the ones who had lived for millennia, were any different. He dismissed Kihar from his thoughts, extending his right hand. Suddenly, a torrent of thunder gathered. Purple lightning crackled with immense power. Boom! A massive bolt of thunder slammed directly into Kihar. It was like divine wrath unleashed, a heavenly punishment. Aya! Kihar, unwilling to accept his fate, fought back desperately. A ferocious windstorm erupted around him. Invisible blades of wind seemed capable of tearing apart the very fabric of reality. Obviously, his domain was the tempest, but against the purple thunder, it was utterly useless. Boom! The wind was torn apart, the wind blades obliterated, the destructive thunder struck Kihar's divine body head-on. The other end of the lightning remained connected to Liu's right hand. His face remained calm. He watched dispassionately as the thunder consumed Kihar's entire divine form. He even saw Kihar's soul escape, twisted in despair, but the thunder swept over it, annihilating everything. This is thunder. Liu murmured. This was the first time he was truly realizing the sheer terror of the thunder. He commanded. Its immense destructive power was enough to terrify any opponent. And he sensed a deeper potential within it, waiting to be explored. If he could unlock it, he believed, even against other demigods, he could dominate them with ease. He might even be able to fight beings of a higher level. Huh? What's that? Divine power? Suddenly, his expression changed. At the spot where Kihar's divine body had been destroyed, 9 strands of light cyan divine power floated in the air. this was what he expected. It was one of the biggest rewards in a war between gods, especially for demigods like him. Still in their early stages, it was like hitting the jackpot, but besides that, what was that light cyan, almost invisible thread, drifting around? He'd never heard of anything like it. After killing a demigod, what else was there to gain besides divine power? He glanced at the collapsing divine realm, not daring to linger. He collected the 9 strands of divine power and the thin light blue thread. With a single step, he'd returned to his own divine realm. Major Hall. 9 threads of divine power can be converted into 7.2 million faith points. After this battle, there should be over 100 new believers. Li Yu grinned. Converting believers took time, but in the eyes of gods, time was the least valuable thing. And that black-scaled flying dragon. Looks like it's still alive. If it is, have Hog arrange a living sacrifice. His heart leaped. Living sacrifices were different from blood sacrifices. Believers could only offer a living sacrifice once every 10 years, and the sacrifice had to be alive. It had to be a sentient being. Through a living sacrifice, that the offering would be transformed into a saint of that god. A saint, a rank higher than a fanatic. Every day, that they would provide 100 faith points to the gods, that was 36,000 faith points a year, and if they reached the 5th level of the extraordinary, the faith points provided would double. Later, the stronger they were, the more faith points they would provide each day. 100-fold increase. This flying dragon. I wonder how much it'll be enhanced. His eyes sparkled with anticipation. Finally, he retrieved the thin, light cyan thread. His eyes turned purple, activating his Eye of Insight. Gust Wind Priesthood, effect, upon use, you will gain mastery over the Tempest Wind Priesthood. A priesthood? This is actually a priesthood. Li Yu's eyes widened in shock. He knew all about priesthoods. After all, he himself wielded the Thunder Priesthood. Every demigod possessed one, but he had never heard of anyone killing a demigod and gaining their priesthood. Demigods weren't real gods. Their priesthoods were too fleeting. Like when a person died, the priesthood would naturally dissipate. His expression shifted. Why was it that killing this opponent had left behind a priesthood? How valuable was a priesthood? Incredibly valuable, a treasure every real god desired. He wouldn't dare to take it out now. Doing so could make him a target for a real god. He had no idea how terrifying that existence would be. They might even be able to pinpoint his location in the divine realm. If I can't sell it, then I'll absorb it myself. A glint flashed in his eyes. He seized the Tempest Priesthood and pressed it against his chest. P.S. If you're enjoying this book, please show your support with flowers, reviews, votes, and rewards. Chapter 8. You are listening at Mtlnovel.audio. Deity Interface. God, Li Yu. Priesthood, Thunder, Wind. God's name, Edmund Prosius Inlan, God's title, God of Thunder, God of Violent Winds. God level, Demigod. Divine power, 0. Power of Faith, 173300. Artifact, None. Sect, None. Believer, Grunschorks. Liu glanced at the information panel and slowly raised his left hand. Instantly, a light cyan minigust of wind swirled into existence. It rapidly transformed into a tornado. The vortex bristled with razor-sharp wind blades. Gods can manipulate the ambient energies through their priesthood. This allows them to generate attacks such as thunder, wind, and lightning. This requires no expenditure of divine power. It's a god's bread-and-butter ability. Of course, spending divine power can drastically boost the intensity of these attacks. He could even unleash devastating divine spells. This is the Tempest Priesthood. Li Yu murmured. He could feel it. Another portion of the world's energy was now subject to his will. His cultivation level hadn't changed, but his strength had exploded. He was a match for demigods 2 or even 3 ranks higher. His control over thunder and wind was exponentially more potent. And I can empower another shaman. A smile touched his lips. Shamans serve as the wise men of their followers. Every shaman is a spellcaster. Normally, a demigod can only transform one shaman. If a disciple naturally possesses spellcasting talent, they can be trained into a shaman. However, races like half-orcs lack any inherent aptitude for magic. they require divine transformation. He peered beyond his divine realm. Simultaneously, he issued an oracle, to Elder Gene Hogg, procure a living sacrifice, the sacrifice, a juvenile black-scaled flying dragon. Move it. Hurry. Remember, from now on, you're slaves of the Grumsh tribe. Only by becoming a true believer in my God can you shed your chains and join Grumsh. The hulking Grumsh orcs herded over 180 orcs with ashen faces, roughly 50 of them bore scars. These were the survivors of the previous clash with the Grumsh warriors. Now, they were all slaves. Bringing up the rear, 10 burly orcs struggled under the weight of the black-scaled flying dragon. The wound on the dragon's belly had stopped bleeding. Even though it wasn't a full-grown dragon, its resilience was formidable. Yet, the gashes on its wings continued to weep. The orcs had clearly done their work. Roar! Faloo whimpered weakly, her eyes wide with fear. She had no idea what horrors these brutes had in store, especially now that she sensed the fall of the god of storms. It felt like the world was collapsing around her. If even the great gods could fall, what chance did she have? Elder Hogg knelt reverently before the ancestral temple. He received the oracle. This battle had only deepened his faith in the god of thunder. He was on the cusp of a breakthrough. My gods will, that he stood and gestured toward the flying dragon being dragged into the tribe. We will perform a living sacrifice. We will offer this flying dragon to my god. A living sacrifice. A living sacrifice, that the Grumsh orcs roared their approval. The divine battle had ignited a fervent zealotry in their hearts. 15 more had become fanatical believers, bringing the total to 73. Virtually every Grumsh orc, save for the children, was now a devoted fanatic. Woo! Faloo thrashed wildly, her eyes brimming with terror. A living sacrifice. She was to be offered to the gods these orcs worshipped. But her struggles were futile. Under Elder Hogg's direction, the living sacrifice ceremony commenced. A towering bonfire blazed. Faloo was placed before the ancestral temple. She was bound so tightly that she couldn't move. All the orcs, including the slaves, prostrated themselves. Ancient and mighty God of thunder, you gave us life, you gave us hope. You light our path forward. You are our ancestor. You are our faith. You are the supreme being. That the orcs prayed with passionate fervor. Elder Hogg raised his hands. We are eternally grateful and wish you immortality. We offer this black-scaled flying dragon as a tribute. We ask for your blessing, your protection. Please accept our living sacrifice. An atmosphere of solemnity and sanctity descended. The entire Grumsh tribe was rocked by thunderclaps. And in addition to that, violent winds whipped through the air. The combination of roaring winds and crashing thunder coalesced into a terrifying thunderstorm. Faloo, struggling desperately, felt the strong wind. Suddenly, she froze, a look of profound bewilderment in her eyes. She could sense Kihar's essence within the storm. The very god she believed in. What was going on? She wasn't alone. The kneeling slaves felt it too. Their minds were simpler. They were first stunned, then filled with joy. The familiar divine aura extinguished their hostility. They began to have faith again. But this time, their faith was in Liu. P.S. Thank you for your support. Please give me flowers, evaluation votes, monthly votes, and rewards. Chapter 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In his god's domain, Liu was taken aback. He stared at the newly formed faith channels, a strange look crossing his face. He hadn't expected that absorbing the storm priesthood would directly convert those half-orcs to his faith. It was a total surprise. Suddenly, he had gained 183 true believers. Buzz, a rift opened in his divine domain. Meanwhile, back in the real world, in front of the ancestral temple, the black-scaled flying dragon froze, bathed in a purple divine light. Its body slowly vanished. Event. Your believers held a pious living sacrifice ceremony for you. Event. Your believers sacrificed a third-level juvenile black-scale flying dragon as a living offering. Event. You gained 9,430 faith points. Talent. The sacrifices you receive are multiplied by a Hundredfold, talent, you have obtained a 6th level juvenile black dragon. Roar, a joyful dragon roar echoed through the divine realm, a fearsome creature covered in purple-black scales and a tough carapace burst through the rift, for black horns adorned its head, its body was massive, and its wings stretched over 30 feet, its powerful, metallic tail swayed gently, the claws were cold and strong, radiating a chilling sharpness. A strong and steady channel of faith bound this black dragon firmly to Liu. Faloo, I pay homage to our great God. The black dragon landed before Liu, his eyes burning with enthusiasm and awe. He bowed low. A saint-level believer, even in death, his soul would ascend to the divine realm, only saints could enter the divine realm. It transformed into a black dragon. Liu was stunned, a black dragon, a real dragon. Giant dragons were creatures of incredible destructive power. The black dragon was known to be a mid-tier dragon, capable of reaching the 8th level legend rank as an adult. A black dragon saint who could grow into a legend. This was an unbelievably precious gift. Legend rank, that was second only to demigods. Any demigod would be thrilled to own a black dragon. Easy come, easy go. A divine war and a huge reward. Liu grinned, divine power, priesthood, believers, and now a black dragon. If he had developed normally, even with his 100-fold talent boost, it would have taken forever to reach this point. A thought crossed his mind, several panels unfolded before him, believer interface, Holy Spirit, 0, Saints, 1, Fanatics, 92, Devoted believers, 5, True believers, 183, Light believers, 0, Shaman, Hog, Divine spells, Palm Thunder, 2nd level, Thunder Vitality, 2nd level, Bloodthirst, 2nd level, Wind Blade, 2nd level, not granted, Wind Shield, 2nd level, not granted, Wind Shackles, 2nd level, not granted. Race interface, Name, Grumshork, Category, subrace, Equivalent level, level 2, prime of life only. Occupation, none, talent, strength LV2, dark vision LV2, skill, throwing LV2, strength, 2.2, physique, 2.2, agility, 2.0, spirit, 0.8, name, Faloo, category, dragon, level, level 6, status, juvenile, talents, magic immunity LV7, strength LV7, dark vision LV7, enhanced defense LV7, skills, dragon breath LV7, dragon power LV7. Rending earth and sky, black dragon tail sweep, strength, 7.2, physique, 7.3, agility, 6.8, spirit, 2.6. He's definitely a black dragon known for brutality and physical strength. At level 6, his strength is 7.2, physique is 7.3, and his talents are all level 7. Liu was in awe. Giant dragons were just too powerful. He figured that even someone who had just reached the 7th level epic rank would probably lose to Faloo, who was only at the 6th level flying stage. You will live outside the Grumsh tribe and find a place to nest. As my follower, you cannot attack the orcs of the Grumsh tribe. You must help them when necessary. Li Yu's booming voice echoed through the divine realm, purple lightning and cyan wind swirled around him, making him appear both blurry and majestic. Faloo obeys, the black dragon spoke, his voice filled with respect. Then, he flew back through the rift, under the horrified gazes of the Grumsh orcs, he flapped his wings and disappeared. Black dragon. That black dragon flew out of my god's divine domain. Could it be that he is also a follower of my god? Elder Hog's heart pounded. A black dragon. A legendary dragon. Famous for its power and invincibility. His god had tamed a black dragon. It was incredible. Great God of thunder, your power is endless, and your name is revered by all. That he knelt and prayed loudly, back in the divine realm. Li Yu smiled, satisfied. A black dragon, even if still young, it was incredibly powerful. In the next divine war, this black dragon alone could easily defeat many demigod believers. He took a deep breath, left his divine domain, and headed toward the city of gods. He now had 9 threads of divine power and so many believers, time to turn it all into raw power. P.S. If you like it, please vote, comment, and consider giving rewards. Chapter 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a store with a long history, Li Yu cashed in Jiao Si Kihar's magical power for 7.2 million faith points. Even though he held the Kihar priesthood, it wasn't the real deal. Divine power, a high-level energy, is unique and requires purification before anyone can use it. As a demigod, he lacked the ability to refine it. 7.2 million faith points. I'll set aside 5 million to condense into 5 strands of divine power for the second turn. That leaves 2.2 million. Li Yu strolled down the street, deep in thought. Gods of all shapes and sizes passed by, giants, elves, undead, demons, orcs, humans, a real mixed bag. Humans were the most numerous. Of course, the street was lined with gods' bars, training halls, magic halls, libraries, and all sorts of other buildings. The city of gods was shrouded in an inexplicable law, limiting gods to casting only the most basic spells, spheres of faith, ignition, water condensation, things like that. So, fighting was out of the question. Those newly surrendered orcs can advance their warriors to the second level. And I need to upgrade their equipment to second level quality. Too bad I'm short on divine power, otherwise. I could speed up the expansion of my god realm and boost the reproduction and growth of my followers. Li Yu muttered to himself. Divine power is high-level energy, practically omnipotent, able to even alter the course of time itself. Without overthinking it, he spent 1,456,000 faith points on 56 items to help his first-tier peak warriors break through to the next level, similar to that Barbarian Bull Emperor essence he sold before. He also picked up 110 sets of second-level battle axes and armor, costing 330,000 faith points. 2 more fourth-level items, costing 580,000 faith points, would help 2 peak-level spellcasters achieve a perfect breakthrough. Just like that, aside from the 5 million he was saving, his pockets were empty. Rookie mistake, he said, shaking his head. Li Yu quickly left the market. Even though it was expensive, he was still pumped. If this keeps up, his followers will get a huge power boost. Just then, his communicator buzzed. Like the villa, it was standard issue in the city of gods. New God Communication Group. Li Yu blinked. He'd been added to this group over 2 years ago, shortly after arriving in the city of gods, by the guy next door. All the gods in the group were newbies, having arrived in the immortal continent within the last 50 years. He opened it up, God of Hail, found some ruins. Need a crew of demigods ASAP to explore. Finders keepers. God of Breeze, ruins. Spring God, major props. Count me in. God of Archery, me too. Me too. The whole group exploded. Most gods were in their own god realms and couldn't use the communicator there. The gods chatting were the ones currently hanging out in the city of gods. The bottom line is that your god realm is the real you. Here in the city of gods, you're just running around in a clone. Just like Li Yu. Even here in the city, he could still sense his real body back in his god realm, even though he couldn't control it. They actually found ruins, that he was surprised. Ruins are usually what's left behind by true gods. When they die, their kingdom of God is destroyed and falls from the sky, becoming ruins. But that hardly ever happens. Most gods get killed. And when they do, their kingdom of God gets snatched up by the enemy. No way it falls into ruins, he was tempted. The kingdom of God. If you could explore one, the payoff would be massive. But after thinking it over, he decided against it. He had a talent that could boost things 100-fold. He could build up his strength in peace. Why take the risk? Ruins are real remnants of gods, they're dangerous. Sure, believers are the ones doing the exploring, but they're still precious to him. God of Hail, don't bother coming if you don't have third-level believers. The entrance is swarming with hundreds of third-tier raptors. We gotta clear them out before we can even get to the ruins. Tier 3 Velociraptors, Liu, who was about to close the communicator, stopped. His eyes lit up. Velociraptors are a subdragon species with a trace of dragon blood. What's more, the bloodline originates from the black dragon. The black dragon is, without a doubt, their superior. No raptor can defy the black dragon's will. If Faloo went, she might be able to tame those raptors. Liyu's heart raced. A third-level raptor, even with just a hint of dragon blood, is still a subdragon species. They're considered pretty strong among the third tier. If they live around a black dragon for long enough, absorbing the aura, they could even evolve into a fourth-level, unicorn dragon. He was completely sold. Ruins are dangerous. But if he just goes to collect the raptors and then gets out of there, no harm no foul.